Well, it looks like we have a new record, 3 videos in one day. So, and I think none of these videos are very short. So I'm assuming at this point you guys are sick of listening to me. But I realized that you needed a little bit more information to be able to do the practice problems and the homework problems. So I'm actually going to demonstrate this by doing problem 9 in the homework. So if you want to print it out or if you just want to write on notebook paper what I'm doing. So I won't actually answer the problems, but I want to show you how you actually fill in the Venn diagram given a bunch of words. And as you can tell, there's a lot of words up there. And I'll show you there's usually some keys to figuring out like what to look for so you know where to fill in what. So in this case, the problem is, we've got Math 110. All students are taking Foundations of Special Ed, Human Growth and Development, or General Psychology. And some of the students are taking 2 or even all 3 of those courses. If 40 students are taking Foundations of Special Ed, 11 students are taking Human Growth and Development, 12 are taking General Psychology, 3 are taking all 3 courses, 6 are taking Foundations of Special Ed and Human Growth and Development, and 6 students are taking Psychology and Foundations of Special Ed. So there's a lot of words going on here. So let me just label these. So A, I'm going to call the SPED class. B, I'm going to call Human Growth and Development. And C, I'm going to call the Psych class. So the reason we have to be really, really careful when we're filling out these diagrams is so we don't actually want to start with, like in this case, the beginning numbers. So in this case, when it's saying that 40 students are taking Foundations of Special Ed, so that doesn't mean we're going to have a 40 there. So what that means is this whole entire circle will add up to 40. So there's going to be some numbers here, there's going to be some numbers here, there's going to be some numbers here, and there's going to be some numbers here. And if you add all 4 of these regions together, that'll actually equal the 40 in this case. So what we have to do is we actually have to kind of start in the middle of these problems. So when we're doing them, what we want to do is actually figure out, whoops, turn the pen back on. What we do is we fill out kind of the intersections first. And so in fact, we want to figure out where all 3 circles have in common. And then we start working our way out into the like A intersect B, B intersect C, A intersect C. We work into those areas. And then we finally finish out the outside circles in this case. So we don't want to deal with this 40 yet, but we do want to keep it in mind because it's going to help figure out some of these other numbers and stuff. So in this case, if we look, number 4 on our list is actually the one that talks about the students that are taking all 3 courses. So 3 of the students in Math 110 are taking Foundations of Special Ed, Human Growth and Development, and General Psychology. So that means they're going to be dead in the middle of all 3 of those circles. So in that case, let's get rid of this because there's a lot of words on here, so we don't want to get too bogged down. So after we get those, now we can start working on the combinations. And so in this case, that's going to be these guys here. So we've got 5 and 6 talk about the kind of the other intersection. So if we look, 6 students are taking Foundations of Special Ed and Human Growth and Development. So the idea is this circle, let me highlight it. This highlighted area contains 6 students total. But we got to remember there's already 3 students in here. So that means we need to subtract 3 from 6 to figure out how many is left over in that pink spot. So in this case, 6 minus 3 just gives us 3. So that means that section is 3. So that's what's tricky about this. And you'll have problems like this that you're going to be working on and presenting on. So that's why I wanted to make sure we had this down and we know what's going on. So in this case, that takes care of Rule 5. So let me erase that. So let's look at Rule 6 here. So 6 students are taking General Psychology and Foundations of Special Ed. So in this case, now we're talking about that shaded region. And so just like we had here, we want these two parts to add up to 6, but we've already got 3 in the 1, so that means this guy is going to be 3 also in this case. So I can now erase this highlighted part. I can go through here and get rid of that. And so if I notice, all the other things that we're talking about are related to individual circles. So 40 students are taking Foundations of Special Ed, 11 are taking Human Growth and Development, 12 are taking General Psychology. So there's no other intersections. So what that means is this guy here is actually going to be a 0. So that means that there's no students that are taking just Human Growth and Development and Psychology in this case. Otherwise, there would have been a spot for them up on our list. So in this case, we get that 0 for free. So now we can start filling in the bigger circles. So again, you can do these in any order, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to start with number 1. So we know we've got 40 students that are taking Foundations of Special Ed, but again, just like before, that means that everybody in this circle adds up to 40. So the idea is I've already got 3, 6, 9 that are in here. So now I need to subtract 9 from 40. And so that tells me that I've got 31 that are just taking special ed alone. So that's what, that's where this one's tricky. That's what makes these problems a little bit hard, because again, like, you have to try to figure out exactly, what the breakdowns are and stuff like that. So, all right. So now we're done with the special ed circle. So let's go over to Human Growth and Development. We've got 11 students that are taking Human Growth and Development. But again, I've already got 6 students in there. So I want to take my 11 minus my 6. So that means that there's 5 that are just taking Human Growth and Development. So that takes care of my rule 2. And then finally, rule 3 says I've got 12 students that are taking General Psychology. But again, I highlight this. I've already got 6 students that are in the Psychology circle. So subtracting 12 from 6 tells me that there's just 6 that are taking Psychology alone. And so again, this gives me my breakdown of all the different students there. So again, we've got to be a little careful with these. Takes practice, so just, I've got like 8 practice problems for you guys to work on, so there's plenty of them for you to work on. The first few, I think, are just 2 circle diagrams. They're a little bit easier to do because there's only one intersection point and there's less bubbles to fill in. So just kind of keep that in mind. When you're working on them, definitely ask me any questions and stuff like that. Sorry for so many videos today, but this is some tough stuff and you guys are doing great. So I will see you tomorrow.